Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is A Life in Spain. My name is Rachel. So you'll have to excuse me. I have got a sore throat or a bug or something. I don't know what it is. So I'm not feeling the best. And my voice is a little bit off, I think. So if I cough or have to grab water or anything, just please bear with me. So this video I wanted to do because I think it was important. There's a lot of people who would, of both genders, male, female, whatever, who want to decide to move to Spain. And just because I'm a single woman, it's not exclusively about being a single woman moving to Spain. It just happens to be my view on it. But my story will be the same for anybody moving to Spain, really. You'll have to go through the same rigmarole, unless, of course, you're outside of the EU, which is a slightly different rigmarole. And I will get somebody in from the UK to speak on that because I can't speak on that. I don't really understand it. I think they have to do a little bit of a longer process. Anyways, I think the big thing is just doing it. You can sit there and think about it for 6 years, think about it for 10 years. The issue I had with it was I kind of saw maybe that there might be another financial crisis coming, and I wanted to get ahead of it and get out before it comes. I wanted to sell my house. So what I decided was I was going to rent, and I said I'll give myself 4 years to rent, decide that's where I want to be in Spain. I definitely want to sever ties completely with Ireland, and then I'll just sell the house. It actually happened a lot quicker than that. I came out here in 2021. I rented a couple of rooms out my house. So I decided that was my asset. I was property rich, money poor. So I was just on a wage. That was it. I hadn't got vast savings, anything of the sorts. And I thought, you know what, if I rent out the rooms, excuse me, I can go and I can have an income. So we're very fortunate in Ireland that you are allowed to rent out your rooms and earn X amount of income. I think it's 16,000 if I'm remembering from my last tax return. 16,500 before you actually encounter tax. That was enough to live on in Spain. So that was a very good wage in Spain, actually. So I kind of thought, right, that's fine. I can do that. So I did. And I did that for the first 2 years. Came to about early last year, it was when the interest rates started increasing. And I found that my income in Spain was now being absorbed. It was being eaten up by interest rate increase from the ECB. It's the European Central Bank. So I didn't see this stopping, and I knew full well that once they were finished trying to control, makes me laugh, trying to control inflation by increasing interest rates. It's anybody who knows about economics just knows that's ridiculous. It never works. Anyway, I just felt this, I'm going to end up poorer and poorer and poorer here. And I kind of saw it as an indicator that things maybe were going in a certain direction, especially seeing as how the interest rate increases came from the States. So pretty similar how the, crash happened in 2008. So I decided time was of the essence. My daughter was pregnant with my grandson, and I was dreading getting messages. And I was sitting there with my friends, and I'd be going, there's a message from my daughter. Another interest rate increase. No, it's okay. It's only a picture of the baby bump. So I felt I kind of couldn't even enjoy the birth or the labour, the gestation process of my grandson, because I was wondering this, is this going to be one telling me that the interest rate's gone up again? So it pushed me to really go, I'm going to have to really think about this. So backing up a little bit, that's what I looked at. I think you have to each look at your individual financial predicament. I was, as I said, property heavy. I wasn't actually in the headspace or the position to sell it just right then. Plus the fact that it wouldn't, with the mortgage I had put on it after my divorce, which was silly, a huge mortgage, I wouldn't have really had an awful lot out of it. So I decided, no, I'll wait. I'll go check it out, make sure, because I'd lived in Spain about 13 years previous, and I thought, I want to make sure it's still somewhere I want to be, etc. So my first advice to anybody that's wanting to come over is, if you have property, rent it out. I am a big proponent of renting it out, and you don't have to tell the government everything, but rent it out. I'm lucky in Ireland, as I said, I could, because there was an allowance, so it was great. Get it rented out. You're not living in it. It's not really your home anymore. And people say, "Oh, I don't want to rent out my house," because they could come back. I could come back to all sorts of damage and stuff. If you're using a good agent, that shouldn't be a problem. But that's the risk you take when you rent out. So you have to weigh that up. Would you rather come back and spend maybe 5,000 cleaning up a house and know for sure that Spain is not where you want to be? Or would you rather not spend the 5,000 and not go and just stay where you are? And that's what you have to decide. We can make too many excuses, and we can be very, majority of people are not ones for jumping. I would be a jumper. I'd kind of go, I'd think about it for a little while, but I would be somebody who would take a chance. Yeah, I would take a risk. Somebody said to me one time, it was very reckless, and I went, well, it wasn't really. I said, what would have been reckless was for me to stay in Ireland with the mental health issues. I had no sunshine, so there was SADs in the winter. In the summer, there was brief moments and glimpses of a summer. It was expensive. So if I wanted to go out for the day, like anywhere locally, kind of just even 20 quid in petrol, 20 quid for something to eat, another 20, 30 quid for something to drink. And I'm not talking about alcohol. I'm talking about soft drinks as well. They're incredibly expensive in Ireland. So for me, it was a no-brainer. It was like, I have an asset. The asset is not working for me. I am working for the asset. I am working to keep that roof over our heads and to keep a bank paid. And I don't think I want to do that anymore. So I rented out a couple of rooms and figured out that it was well within my budget to go off and do that and leave Ireland. I worked with a horrible company for about 8 weeks, purely to get the money to go bye-byes. That was really it. It was good money, and I did it to go bye-byes. So as soon as I had enough for petrol, food, and a couple of little bits, just a little cushion. Not a lot. Like, I arrived in Spain with about €500 in a cushion. But I had my rental apartment. I had secured my rental apartment, so I'd paid, contacted the agent, who I'll link below, Sangria Properties. If you're coming anywhere in the Costa Blanca, they're absolutely brilliant, but particularly Costa Blanca South, around Torrevieja area, or Huela Costa, that's where they deal with, but they deal a large area there, and I cannot recommend them enough. They are hands down the best agents. We have agents in Ireland. I used one recently to sell my house, and he was absolute rubbish. He worked for the purchaser. He didn't work for me at all. Because let's face it, if he gets 40 grand less or 30 grand less on my house, it's a big chunk of money to me. It's 300 quid to him. So the agent wasn't too bothered whether I got 500,000 or 600,000 a year. It really didn't make a difference. It just wasn't enough of a difference really to make him want to work for me. Instead, he chose to work for the purchaser, which is fine, because that's a potential client when that purchaser decides to sell the house again. So that's how he's doing his business. Adrian of Sangria Properties and Liz of Sangria Properties are not like that. They're completely different. So I would hands down have no problem recommending them to anybody. I will link them below. Do check them out. They will help you. If they haven't got the property you want, or they haven't got the rental you want, they will find it for you. But do contact them. They're absolutely amazing. So that said, it was time to get in the car. It cost me total, because I came down in June, I was a bit delayed tying up some bits and pieces to get down. I ended up coming down. I landed in Spain on the solstice on the 21st of June 2021. 21, that's where I landed. And I was just like, oh God, I'm home. I'm back. I'm home. Great. Thank you. I packed up my Irish car, drove it down, and 700 for the ferry. I think it was 795 for the ferry, so about 800 quid for the ferry. And the petrol at the time cost me, I had a 1.6 turbo injected turbo, a Peugeot, an RCZ, which is like a little sports car thing. I rammed it as much as I could without the tyres tipping the rim of the wheels, or the rim of the wheel well. And I just said, I'm going. That's it. I'm going. Goodbye. Good luck. Drove down from Naas, where I lived, to Rosslare, and then went Rosslare to Bilbao. Fabulous time. 2 days in the ferry. Great crack. Very expensive on the ferry. What I would say is download a shed ton of Netflix before you go, because the internet is 14 quid a day and it doesn't give you the full 24 hours. So it's really crap. It's really bad. It's expensive enough to eat on the ferry, expensive enough to drink on the ferry. So that's what I did. I bought a lot of stuff. I did buy a pizza on board, and I think I had a breakfast. And the rest of it I had brought myself and sat in my cabin watching my Netflix, etc. So that's how I did it. I landed, I had 500 euros in my pocket when I landed down here. And I went, shit, I can't believe I've done this. It's kind of then the reality sunk in, and I went, what have I done? What have I done? But quickly landed and realised, as all expats do, there is a wonderful community down here to support you. And I was lucky. I knew that community already. So I was happy out, landed, and it was fine, because then my rents came in the following month. And so it went for 2021, 2022, and in 2023, the ECB started raising the rates, late 2022, but they were unbearable. So what it did was, because I was renting out the rooms in my house, it ate into my wage that I was getting from it. And that was happening more and more and more. And my mortgage had tripled. And I just thought, I can't do this. I'm just not doing it, and that's it. I know I'm not going back to Ireland. I know I don't want to go back to Ireland. So what am I going to do? So I made the decision to sell the house. My daughter and her partner obviously were kind of like, oh God, we've just had a baby. What are we going to do? And I said, look, don't worry, I'm not throwing anybody out in the streets, but we do need to get the house ready to sell. So it was a rough year. It was a really, really rough year. Probably, dare I say it, like, not since my mother died had it been such a rough year. And I was up and down and all over the place emotionally. I had put on about 2.5 stone. I did not look after myself. I look at myself in the mirror and I go, who the hell are you? I don't know you. What happened to you, girl? What happened to you? So what I would say is my experience is completely different from everybody's. But if you're property heavy, maybe consider renting out. But I'm sitting here today telling you, stop thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it. If you are not actively putting money by every single month and seeing a result come through every single month, at the end of the month go, yep, I'm up. I now have 10 grand. I now have 20 grand. I now have this. What are you doing? You're just wasting time, really. Money as well, savings, with the inflation that's going on at the moment, it's not worth anything as near what it was. I remember when I came down first, petrol was 99 cent a litre. It is, for the Americans, that would be around €5 a gallon, which is in around 4.50-ish a gallon when I came down. That was in Spain. It was 150 something in Ireland. It is now 150 something here. So it has gone up. It has gone up. So I think what I'm saying is, look, no matter what your circumstances are, sit down and say, when do I want to do this? If you want to do this in 10 years' time, great. Brilliant. Go for it. I just was afraid of what was coming, and I wanted to make the move before what is coming comes, basically. There's going to be another medical emergency, I would imagine, and for sure we're going to have some sort of worrying financial times. Also, whether we like to admit it or not, we are actually in World War III. There's major wars going on, and that's not going anywhere for the next 10 years, I would imagine. So I kind of wanted to do it. I said, I could sit here and wait till that's all more stable and go, oh, no, no, sure, look, I'll wait till all that sort. And then I would have been 61 making the move. And I didn't want to be 61 making the move. Not that I wouldn't mind, but I just didn't want to be. So I guess in short, what I'm saying is figure out what's your bare minimum. See what you have. If you've got a property, rent it out. Rent rooms out in it. Come over and taste. Come over and have a taste. Particularly if you live in Europe and you're thinking of doing this, or you live in Ireland or the UK and you are thinking of doing it. Just, think to yourself, hang on a minute. If I rented this out, drove my Irish car down, that's fine. I was lucky enough that I was travelling a little bit, so I was leaving Spain, so technically my car was reset for import reasons and stuff. I ended up anyway, I did buy a Spanish car. But I think, I think in short, you either do it or you don't do it. I used to work for a guy who said you either, poop or get off the pot, only not as nicely said as that. I would do it. I would do it, absolutely. If you're in the EU, you're very lucky because you just arrive down, you apply for your NIE, which is your national insurance number, your NIA, you get your NIA and you can work. It's that simple. A lot of companies as well will actually get you the NIA and get you working. They'll say, yeah, we'll get your NIA, no problem. So for those of us in Europe, it is so simple to do. It's so easy to do. It really is worth doing. That doesn't make it any less worth doing if you're not within Europe. So I didn't want to come in here with a solution in this video and go, now this is what you do. Every month you save this, because every one of us is so completely different. Our family circumstances are different. Our financial circumstances are different. Our living situation is different. Some of us are married, some of us aren't. So I was lucky. I had grown children that could a grown child that could stay in the house with their partner and act as caretaker while I went, tasted the life again. I was free to do so at the drop of a hat and make my own plan within my own time frame. That is one of the greatest, biggest blessings of being single, which is a very hard one to give up. And it's never going to happen for me. No, it's too valuable. I think if you taste it, you just go, no, it's mine, I'm free. I'm never doing that again. So I was able to just do what I wanted. So don't think about it too long. Do your research, make sure the area you're going to has, if you have to work, there is employment opportunities there, even if it is a bar job, even if it is a bar job. If you are property rich, cash poor, go and rent out the property, Even what I did was initially to get some extra money as well was I rented out one room while I was still in the house and then rented out a second room. You have to decide how much you want this. And people out there saying, oh no, I wouldn't want to rent out my house. No, I wouldn't live in my own home with a tenant in it. Like, well then, okay, you just really don't want your Spanish dream right now. You want it further down the line, and that's perfectly fine. But it can be done with very, very little. The other alternative, blah, 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 alternative is that if you are coming down, you don't have a house, so you've no house to sell, or you can't rent out your house, or you can't sell a house and you've absolutely nothing except you're going to leave a job. Well, it's absolutely ridiculous to leave a job and come down here with nothing and no savings. So in that case, yes, you have to have an asset. And whether that asset be a juicy bank account, a property, a car you can sell to float you for your time when you come down, it has to be something. You have to figure that out for yourself. But I think the biggest block is always here, and it's that fear that says, what if I go and what if I go? So that's why I would not advise selling my house, go and buy. I know people who've done it. I do know a lot of ladies have done it, and a lot of ladies are doing it on the site, but they have been back and forth to Spain for years, for 30 years, coming back and forth and staying months at a time, seeing out 180 days or 90 days or whatever the visa permits. So they have done their research, and they've done it over an elongated period of time, and they prepared financially for it, etc. I wouldn't advise just throwing it all out. I'm reckless to a point, but I'm not that reckless. But what I'm trying to say here is, in short, just do it. Oh, Nike might sue me for my millions that I have. Try it. Just do it. Just do it. Come over. You won't regret it. I think even if you think it's not for me, you'll go back with a great life experience. You'll go back going, I remember when I lived in Spain for a year, and people tend to go, really, what was it like? And it's only when you start explaining what it's like that you suddenly realise how much you've learned. You also see your own culture very differently when you live out of it and look back into it. You see, that is absolutely why the Irish government does not allow any Irish citizen living abroad or working abroad to vote. Your right to vote is denied the minute you leave the island. And the reason is because they know they know you see the system for what it is, and they know you would not vote. So they know what you do with every other country does: one vote, one person, end of. None of this PR stuff or any of that. So I'm convinced that's why they don't let you vote. So take your time to decide which way you're going to do it, but don't take too much time, because we don't have an awful lot of it. I would have rather struggled, and I did struggle. I have to say I struggled last year. Last year was a very big struggle from about November 2022. So I really had a lovely year, like a year and a half living in Spain. I was like, hey, this is great, income from Ireland, happy days. Actually no real intention of selling the house for maybe 3 or 4 more years. And then the interest rates came, and it was signaling something being wrong economically. And I went, time to get out of Dodge. So I did. My daughter got her own place and she's fine, worked out well. She's happy out, she's delighted. Did I cry when I sold the house? Did I cry when I left it? Did she cry? Not a jot. Not a jot. Because I've such a nice life here. I have a social life here. I'm 54 in July and I have a social life. I get to go out. I can go have a drink and not be old, you know. I can go see rock bands. I can go do whatever I want to go swimming. On a day where I'm bored, just to burn off some energy with the dog. Normally when I'm home in my normal part of Spain in Orihuela Costa, I take the dog and bring him down to the dog beach, play flamenco, let him off the leash, and he runs like he has been in prison for years. I swear to God, he runs around like a lunatic and he loves it. And it's great fun and he has great time. That's invaluable. Being able to do that, 330 odd days of the year, even in the middle of winter, been on the beach on Christmas Day, in a light jacket or a t-shirt is priceless. There's a lot to be said for it. So with that in mind, I will say to you, have a look and sit down and be very strategic. Think outside the box. Don't just think, I have to save and have this amount of money before I can go. Get yourself, there's digital nomad visas, which I will go into with other friends of mine as well, who I believe are on digital nomad visas. And for anybody from England watching and from the States and all that, it isn't really that difficult. The newspapers, of course, have portrayed it as, they're not letting anybody in from England and you have to go through dancing rigmarole. It's a bit of paperwork. We all have to do it. It's bureaucracy. It's every country in the world. Nobody's exempt from it. Find me a country that's exempt from it and I'll move there. It's not, it is there. So bear that in mind. You can still legally come here. If you have a YouTube channel, you work online remotely, come to the country. Why not? I know somebody who's working here for the last 4 years and she works for an Irish company in Ireland and she has a VPN on every morning. She goes to work and that's it. And her money goes into her Irish bank account and she spends it here. And that's it. Her company doesn't know. I'm not suggesting you do that. I'm not suggesting you don't do it. What's the big deal? I'm working for you. Does it matter if I'm sitting in a chair in Ireland or a chair in the thing? What's the difference, So go for it, I would say. Having said that now, I caught this cold somewhere in I caught it in Ireland last weekend. I was over for my grandson's birthday. He's so cute. And I caught this cold and I just can't shake it. But I have to go get ready because We have a Eurovision party tonight for the Eurovision Song Contest. My son-in-law is absolutely a Eurovision fanatic. So we're all dressing up in different costumes. I'm going as I am Bambi. I'm sorry, Bambi. I can't even say it straight because she's so beautiful and she's such a slim little thing, and I'm this big older woman. I'm going as Bambi Thug, but I'm calling myself Bambi Gordo. Gordo is fat in Spanish, so I'm kind of this half Irish kind of Spanglish type of version of it. So it's more an homage to her tonight. There will be a lot of trouble at this, I think, tonight because of, unfortunately, the genocidal act and genocidal country of Israel. They are just, they put the man with the mustache to shame. His mind would be blown to see what they're doing. He'd be like, really? Jesus, even I wasn't that good at getting rid of people. So, watch this space. I did put up a video about it the other night where they booed the Israeli entrant. Of course, the Eurovision, European Broadcasting Foundation, wherever it is, absolute waste of time and money, takes taxpayers' money and gives it to big sponsors and big countries. Are doing nothing about it. They've just made a balls of the whole thing. So if you're not watching for anything else, watch it. I wouldn't watch it, to be honest with you, only for it's going to be on here and we're having a party. So for my son and my son-in-law, I am doing it. But if it was me, absolutely no. Ever since Israel joined, no, don't watch it. I've watched it once, and that was the gay vote, the night of the equality marriage. The marriage equality vote in Ireland, that was the last time I watched it. Voluntarily watched it. Other than that, it's been because somebody is watching it in the house and I'll sit down and watch it with them, but I wouldn't turn it on just because Israel's in it. And if you're going to ban Russia, you've got to ban Israel. They're far worse. So that's my 2 cents worth. And if you don't like it, don't buy it. Switch to another channel. So yeah, that's my video today. I'm sorry I kind of rambled off at the end there, but I must go now and paint my face black and put ohms down my face and ruins and put some mad nails I bought and stuff on. So I'm going to go be Bambi Thug. I'm sorry, I can't say that with a straight face. I'm going to go pay homage to Bambi Thug by being Bambi Gordo. Thanks for watching this week, and next week there's going to be an interesting update. I don't want to give too much away right now, but if you've stuck around this long, there could be an interesting update next week. So yeah, I have a bit of stuff to research to do first, but I will keep you posted on it. Okay, have a great weekend, enjoy, and I'll talk to you again next week. Bye.